Breaking news, people, and it's not the good sort of breaking news. Not transfer related, no incomings, not outgoing related. It's injury related. Not the first time this season, and probably the last. We've got one game to go. Fingers crossed it's the last because, listen, as much as people have either used it as reasons why we've come away with another season with nothing, or excuses why we've come away with another season with nothing. The amount of surgeries we've had across the last 12 months and just over um, has been nothing short of unusual. I say unusual because, again, there will be reasons behind why we've had so many. Bad luck will play a part. Game time will play a part. Squad numbers will play a part. And all in all, I think all those combined have played a part in the season unfolding the way it has. And the latest one on that injury list, injury news update, is Urian Timber. He was the first one on the list in 23-24 with the ACL. Now come the end of the 24-25 season, where he's come back off that ACL like a machine. Like a machine. He's ended it with another trip to the hospital, another trip to the surgery table, this time ankle related. Not too sure what ankle it is, but listen, when you have a knee injury, especially a knee injury like an ACL, it can always have a knock-on effect on either ankle. One leg you start using a bit more than you might have done previously, because mentally you feel a lot safer on that leg. You want to protect the injured leg a lot more, even upon return. Or the knee, because it carries the burden of the whole body, your whole weight. It can have a knock-on effect across the leg, including your ankle, your Achilles, and just generally the way you walk and move. So I'm going to assume the ankle injury is related somewhat, but I'm going to also assume that the amount of games he's played this season is also somewhat a reason why he's now the latest player to go under the knife. Some will say good timing, considering that it's game week 38 in a few days. We haven't got nothing to play for, and the players have 2 months now before August and the new season starts for them to recover, recuperate, refresh, learn, do what they need to do, come back better. I agree. I mean, if we're looking at timing, then obviously a player having surgery just before a season ends, or going into the summer, is at the ideal time. But the second surgery in 2 years, it does, this ain't one where I'm going to look at Mikel solely and say the amount of game time he's played is the reason why, even though I do think that, when you look at the squad numbers at the start of the season, someone's got to be held accountable. Now, whoever that someone is, we went into this season light. The Ben White injury, the surgery prior to the season starting, again, you could say unfortunate, but you could also say that was needed because of the amount he was played through injury for the 2 seasons prior to that. So when will we learn? I think all eyes are on this summer now, getting all the numbers you can, but accountability lies somewhere. And I know Ben White was playing through injury for a long time in that last season, 23-24. Possibly injections, as many do through injury, just to ease it a little, get you by. So that accumulated to surgery, and that had a knock-on effect on the player returning from an unfortunate ACL to start his Arsenal career, to then get thrust in and play the amount of games he played. Listen, Timber came back a monster from that ACL, so I have no doubt that mentally he's strong enough to return from this one as well. An ACL is probably the worst. Okay, I won't say the worst, because the people will flood the comments with injuries that they deem worse, but it's one of the worst injuries you can have as a football player. And like I mentioned before, it can change the way you move. It can change the way you think. It can, take away a lot from your game, We've seen it with players in the past. Bellerin is probably the most recent example of an ACL that's had a massive knock-on effect. Someone that was in the team of the season in his breakthrough year, Bellerin, ended up becoming somewhat of a, you know, joke by the end of his Arsenal career. So ACL injuries, I mean, it can finish a player's career. It can have a massive effect. But with Timber, we've all said it across the whole season. Is the guy human? 48 appearances across the board, I believe it is. Let me just double check. 48 appearances across the board. That's a solid season of consistency. And not only consistency, but quality, effort, everything needed. Top 3 player for us this season. Top 3. I struggle to think of many names I can put above him, or even argue with him being number 1 potentially. I'd say Raya's in there. Made massive saves across the season. He has been involved in a few moments too, but he's made massive saves across the season. I'd probably put a Timber ahead of him. I'd say Partey as well. Consistent throughout the season. I know he's had a couple moments recently as well, but ever present, consistent, and off the back of the injury hit season he had the year before, I mean, it was a welcome surprise. But Timber is probably number 1. The more I think about it, I was actually going to do a separate video on this, but now we're here talking about him. I'd probably say he's my player of the season. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. But for me, probably player of the season for me. Like I said, consistent quality effort. What more do you need? And I think that patch we had, return from international break, was it November? I should have checked this, but off the top of my head, November, Odegaard returned. We had Nottingham Forest, Sporting, and West Ham. We smoked all 3 of them. If you cast your minds back to those 3 games, Timber was as crucial as Odegaard and Saka to the build-up, the style, the flair, there's something else we've been missing around those 3-4 games. Because those 3-4 games, in my opinion, was our best patch, if you can call 3-4 games a patch. But the football we was playing was very different in the attacking third to the football we played for the majority of the season. And I think because Timber was picking up pockets, not just not just around the box, he was picking up vital pockets of space inside the box, space invading, which kind of bodes different. Like, I don't mind my fullback space invading, if I'm honest with you. I mind my striker space invading. I want him to be banging goals, but my fullback invades space, brother. And when he invaded space in those 3-4 games, we produced our best football. Not saying it's all on him, but he was vital there. Apart from that, he was pretty much relied upon defensively more than anything. Maybe with Lewis Skelly allowed to roam a little bit more as the fullback that's really a midfielder. But yeah, 48 appearances, 4 Carabao Cup. Preston involved in that, 45 minutes subbed at halftime. Did he need to do that? 90 against Crystal Palace. The semi-finals against Newcastle, understandable. It's semi-finals. It's Newcastle. I get that. But Preston and Palace, and people might say, what's 135 minutes going to do? And you might be right. But who knows? Who knows? 30 in the Premier League, 3 of them being off the bench, 27 starts, and 13 in the Champions League, 2 goals and 4 assists across all competitions. So the workload was heavy in Premier League and Champions League as expected, but even in the FA Cup, played not the full, but played 100 minutes there and 300 in the Carabao Cup. So yeah, that goes to show ever present, consistent, all of that. But yeah, unfortunate end to the season for him. It's a season where, for me, this book was closed. Chapter 5, let's call it. People are calling it phase 5. We'll call it chapter 5. Chapter 5 is closed. The book's about to be closed soon because we need to win something next year. I think chapter 6 is the last chapter of this phase. whether there's another book that comes out after it because we win stuff next season, or whether that book is just goes down and fades to black, and the reviews are terrible, then yeah, chapter 6 will be the last one. But let me not end in an even bigger downer than it already is. Timber, surgery, ankle, not looking good. He has time to recover. Wish him the best. Machine monster, player of the season. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as well. This came out just after Forever Arsenal as well, which, you know, if we had known, we would have covered it in the show. If you haven't watched Forever Arsenal, then go watch Forever Arsenal individual channel as well. Turkish LDN, the Big Six. Subscribe. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed here. Love for the love. And I'll be back when I'm back. Peace.